Our next inductee I'm going to get to introduce, because this guy's been a friend of mine since we were almost kids, I think. He called me up back in the day of my guiding career. I was guiding crappie fishing a lot on Kentucky Lake, and I didn't have any money, didn't have any way to advertise to anybody, but I was carrying outdoor riders like Wade Bourne and Don Worth and the great Tim Huffman sitting right here. We shared a lot of days in the boat together, and I don't know how Russ Bailey got my phone number, but he called me, and back then we didn't have cell phones. I had a phone on the wall, my phone rang one night, and he said, "I'm Russ Bailey with BrushPile Fishing. I'd like to come down and do a TV show with you." Well, I'd never done a TV show before, and I really didn't know how to act, but I said, "If you want to come down and do a show with me, come on." Well, we set the date, and Russ come down. We had a great time. I don't remember how many fish we had, but I remember that I enjoyed fishing with Russ Bailey. He is a true Southern gentleman, never met one better. If you ever get a chance to do a TV show with him, please go. Please welcome to the stage my brother, Russ Bailey.
I'm glad I'm not the first one up here, because I didn't know if I was going to do the 3 or the 6 hour speech. So I think I've got it narrowed down now. First of all, good afternoon. And I still can't believe this is happening. This is something that I never thought about, because I just thought it was way out of reach. And to be honest with you, we were at the Grizzly Tackle Show this winter when I found out. We had a B&M pro staff meeting afterwards, and I'm going to tell, I feel like a little kid in class now. Gary was there, and he was up speaking at the pro staff meeting. And what he was speaking about was that Ron and I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I was sitting in the back row with Brad Whitehead telling jokes, and he had to say it twice. So that's how unexpected it was. So Gary, to you and the board members of the Legends of the Outdoors Hall of Fame, thank you very much. This is truly special. Still can't believe it's happening. I will keep this short. One of the coolest things about finding out that I was going into the Hall of Fame was at the same time Ron Wong and I were both there, finding out that we were going into the Hall together. Ron and I have been friends for many years. There's no doubt that he's up in heaven right now. He's got his hush puppies prepared. He's got his camera on his neck, and he's shouting out orders down here. And when we start taking photos, if you're not doing it right, you're going to feel somebody nudging you and say, "Get over here, get over here." Ron used to be so particular about that, and I would do things just to make him mad. He'd say, "Turn to the left," so I turned to the right. You know, that's it. But I miss him, and I got no doubt too, he's up there with Mike Ellis. Mike's another great one we lost here recently, and they're telling stories. Ron's not getting to talk right now, because if you know Mike Ellis, and if he ever told you, hey, to make a long story short, you knew he had something on his mind, you're going to be there for 2 hours, okay? But they're there together. Ron, I love you, brother. You too, Mike. All right. You know, I started out fishing like most people, fishing streams around my hometown with my dad and my old elementary school buddies from 4th grade, and we still hang out and have breakfast. Don't get us fished as much together, but I started just like everyone else. It was called the 201 crew. Targeting anything that would bite, bluegills, catfish, and I used to love to carp fish. Mulberries, anybody take the mulberries off the tree? Oh, we had a ball. As I grew older, I live about 2 hours from Lake Erie. I got older, got a boat, and me and several of the guys I worked with, we had the walleye fever. Went up to Lake Erie, and we targeted walleye. That's all I wanted to do. I got out of the service, and I got a job at the St. Mary's Police Department, where I retired from. But I remember in St. Mary's, Grand Lake St. Mary's is there, and a bunch of the cops that I worked with, they said, "Hey, we're going crappie fishing tonight. Would you like to go?" And I'm thinking to myself, crappie fishing, you know, those fish are like this. I'm used to catching walleye, okay? But I went out with them that first night, and we were using this light tackle and these light rods, and from the very first fish, that was it for me. I was hooked, and when I'm into something, I mean, I go 100%. So I started fishing in national tournament trails. We're gonna show our age here. Anybody remember the old crappie-thon days? That's the tournament trail I fished, you know, and I got lucky, was able to win a few tournaments. I got to fish in 14 national championships. And I remember telling my wife, I said, look, I've done some things I wanted to do, but I am so tired of the traveling. So I said, I think I'm done with the tournament trail. I want to start a guide service. So I started a guide service, and you got to understand, when I tournament fished, I was competitive. I was there to win. I started a guide service, and something happened. I started taking out some people that may only get to fish 1 or 2 times a year. They're not as lucky as some of us. And to see the doubt in their eyes in the morning when they would always ask me, do you supply the minnows or do we have to buy them? And when I would tell them, we're jig fishing, we're not putting live bait on my boat, you could see so many times the doubt in their eyes. And by the end of the day, when they were catching fish, their chest pumped out. And I always offered, hey, if you guys want, I'll clean the fish for you. Very seldom did they take it up because they wanted to take them home and show their buddies what they did. And I knew right then I lost every bit of competitiveness I've ever had for fishing. The education part is what I wanted to continue because I got more out of seeing those people than I did anything else. I loved it. So, let's see here. I'd been talking to one of my buddies from the police academy, Rick Hudgel, and we all joked, how many of you, and I know Jimmy Houston's here, how many of you guys have been on the boat and you land a big fish, you're just fishing with Buddy, and all of a sudden you're Jimmy or Roland or son Eric, come on, who's done that? I used to do that all the time. So I had said, you know, there's nothing for crappie fishermen. There's all these bass shows and deep sea fishing shows. We need something for the crappie guy. So I was talking to Ricky Hudgel, who's an old police academy buddy, and he kept pushing me, you need to start your own show. You need to start your own. I didn't know what I was doing. So we started Midwest Crappie. This led to the Midwest Crappie Show and later, of course, BrushPile Fishing. I had a couple of goals for the shows. First, I wanted to show as many patterns, techniques, and lakes that we could. And I was fortunate enough, while on the tournament trail, to make some friendships with some of the best crappie anglers in the country. The second goal was to bring my guest personalities to the viewers, to show them not only were they great crappie fishermen, but awesome people. I wanted to, when you watch one of our episodes of the show, when you were done, I want you to feel like you've known the guest your whole life. The second goal, and this is where the thankfulness comes in. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to God, for without Him, none of this would be possible. Such big thanks to our sponsor for all their support, starting with Jack Wells and the crew of B&M. What can I say, Jack? One of the first sponsors that I ever had. You took a big chance on a crappie show with me over 30 years ago, and we're still a team. And more important than that, we have a true friendship. I can never express the appreciation that I have for you, my friend, ever. And you're still with me. Jeff Smith from Crappie Magnet, same thing. I love talking other things other than fishing with him. Mark Riddle from Cornfield Fishing Gear. A good conversation with Mark and I, he's been a great sponsor, is about 2 minutes of fishing, and then we talk about who was the guest on the Rockford Files the night before. Okay, so as you can see, I've been in this long enough, it's not just sponsorship, it's friendships that I've made out of it. A big thanks to Driftmaster, Garmin, Millertech, Mossback Fish Habitat, Offshore Tackle, Power Pole, Purpose-Built Optics, Slime Line, Stan Slip Bobbers, especially Chris for helping out with one of my ideas, and War Eagle Boats. A big thanks to Preston Myers from NK Telco. Thank you for getting me fired up to start this project again and believing that BrushPile could get to this level. Not only the TV show, but now we have video podcasts. We have the BrushPile Fishing Academies, and my favorite thing that I've been associated with since I started fishing, the BrushPile Veterans Tournament. This is a tournament we put on yearly. and in the last 4 years, we've raised over $125,000 for veterans causes. If you're not familiar with Travis Mills was a veteran that got both of his arms and both of his legs shot off in the war. He's got a thing now where he helps veterans. We were able to give so much money to him, and now we're doing others. Face the Fight will get our money this year. They deal with veteran suicides. So I'm a veteran. How many veterans we have here? Love you guys. Joe Weaver, or commonly known as Joe the Camera Guy, you took the show to a new level with your camera work and editing. Thank you, brother. And now T. Roy has not missed a beat. I've always thought that one thing was different about our show and kept us apart from the others is that we have a different guest every week from a different part of the country teaching their own favorite crappie technique. And to showcase pro staff members from B&M, Crappie Magnet, Cornfield Fishing Gear made this whole thing so easy for me. I was just there to have a conversation with the guys. This information and entertainment these guests give is what makes our show different and keeps it going. I've always believed in surrounding yourself with good people, and I have truly surrounded myself with the best in the business. Just think about this. Spreading the knowledge of guys like Ronnie Capps and Steve Coleman. If you know anything about tournament fishing, back in the day, they were up here. They were the #1 team ever. Still are. Number 2 was a big separation. Everybody else was close after that. But they were it. Ken Driscoll, got to tell a little story here. Ken Driscoll, the first show we did, it was in Mississippi in the summer. I had never done a show on pulling crankbaits. I was looking forward to this. I was like a kid in a candy store. The day before we were scheduled to tape, I cut the tip of my finger off and had it sewed back on. So I told Kent, he said, we can postpone. Oh, no, we're doing this show. If you ever go back and watch that show, you're going to swear I was afraid to hold a crappie. Because every time I grabbed one that we caught it, I was ready for him to shake and that crankbait go right into those stitches. So Kent, I'll never forget that one. Continuing, John Harrison. If you ever watch our shows, you would swear the whole show is a blooper. Okay, I have had more fun on the boat with that man, but if you could see the stuff we couldn't put on TV, you would really love it. Guys like Daryl Baker, Whitey Outlaw, Tom Hankins, David Jones, Corey Thomas, Les Smith, Rick Solomon, Brian Carter, Charlie Hildreth, Brian Cleveland, Billy Blakely. Billy Blakely, I still say, is the man that closed captioning was built for. Okay, Billy has the most southern drawl I have ever heard. Went back to edit a show one time with Billy, and I'm watching it, and we were catching some nice fish, and then I'm thinking to myself, what the heck did he just say? Okay, Billy, love you, brother. I really want to say thanks to everyone who has ever taped the show with us. I also want to thank Tom Peterson, my regular fishing buddy, because it's still good to go out with no cameras, no pressure, whether you catch a fish or not. Tell a few lies, tell a few stories, and just go fish. To the fans and the viewers, you are what keeps us going. We don't have the budget of some of the big TVs. NK Telco, who owns BrushPile Fishing, is in a town of about 500 people. And we're closing in on our 200th episode. So to all the fans and viewers, you're what keep us going. Thanks for watching, for all the comments you send me, the texts, the emails. And I still love doing the seminars in the winter and having you come up and share your fishing photos and your stories with me. Those are the things that make it special. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank my family, Patty, Sarah, and Wyatt, for putting up with me during this whole thing and being on the road so much. Patty, my amazing wife for over 35 years. You've been there for the good times and the tough ones. And we've had some tough ones. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I love you. To my daughter, Sarah, you've turned out great even with me on the road all the time. You're a super school teacher, a great person, and you and your husband, Justin, gave me my granddaughter. Wyatt, not so good, okay? Even though he'll go crappie fishing with his dad, he would still love to wade the creek for them smallmouth more than anything. And to make things worse, here in a couple months, he's going to be an attorney. So 1 out of 2 kids turning out good, I'll live with that. You know, I talked about when I quit the tournament trail, I was tired of the traveling. I travel more now doing this TV show than I ever did, okay? But one of the things that keeps this great for me is every time I go out and I fish with a new guest, after all these years, I'm still learning things myself, and I absolutely love it. In closing, I want to say I'm truly blessed and humbled to be here today. Again, I thank God, and again, I say thank you to all who have been part of this journey. You are truly family. We say that a lot, but we are family, and I love you all. Thank you very much. Oh my. Oh, that's awesome.
We got it for you.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
And you got Speedy. Come over here and we'll get a picture real quick.